Okay, Saintsmen, today we're going to take a look at the UC application. So if you're considering applying to any of the 9 UC schools or multiple UC schools, you're going to want to pay attention to this. We've got some important information based on you being here at St. Augustine that'll help you on the application, and then just some general information as well. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen, and let's go here. This is the UC application page. The easiest way to get to it is if you just do a Google search, type in UC application. The first link that pops up is going to take you right to this page. Then you're going to be prompted to create an account. So we do that, type in your email address, confirm it again. And then create account. Cool, so once you're in, it's going to ask you these first important questions. It defaults, it looks like, to fall quarter semester of 2021, which is what you want selected. You're not enrolling for the fall of 2020, that's right now. You're not going to be enrolling for this winter quarter because you're still going to be in high school. So make sure you're selecting fall quarter of 2021. And then your application level, make sure you select freshman. If you do transfer or other, it's going to bring up the wrong stuff for you, and we don't want that. So save and continue. And little information there, and we start the application. So now you're inside the application. These are the different sections here. There's the About You section, and once you open that up, you're going to see several different parts that you need to fill out. So this is really basic, personal information, when and where were you born, contact information, citizenship and residency, demographics, background, your household information, your parent information. You may need to sit down with your parents to get some of this information in there. And then once you've completed all that, you've completed your About You section. From there, we want to go to campuses and majors. They're going to give you a values statement on the UCs. Term and level is just going to confirm again that we're doing the fall quarter of 2021, freshmen. Choosing your campuses. So it's going to give you the opportunity to select which of these 9 you're interested in. It could be just one. It could be all 9 potentially. Just know that each one has a cost, $70 per school that you're going to select. So that adds up pretty quick. And then you're going to choose a major. So once you've selected a college, choose a major. It's not going to show up right now because I didn't select a college, but each college has their own set of majors. Some are similar, some are different. So you need to pick one for each college. I want you to then go to academic history, and I'm going to walk you through this real quick because this is where most of the questions come up. So here's our introduction. 7th and 8th grade. So it's asking you for any math or foreign language that you may have taken in 7th or 8th grade. Now, this really only needs to be included if you took geometry in 8th grade and then started in Algebra 2 here at Saints. If you started in Algebra 1 or geometry here at Saints, then you don't need to mark any of these. Then it's going to ask about foreign language. Excuse me, some of you may have started in Spanish 2 here because you took Spanish 1 in 8th grade. If that's the case, you can put yes and mark that. If you started in Spanish 1, Latin 1, French 1, regardless of what you did at your previous school, you should just be marking no. And did you attend a school outside the United States for any part of 6th through 8th? Some of you, that may be a yes, especially maybe a school down in Mexico or something like that. But we're going to put no for the majority of us. We save that. Then we're going to add a high school, and we are adding a high school in California, and it is not either of those. Let's find St. Augustine. St. Augustine High School in San Diego, select that. That is going to link us to everything that we have here. Specialized curriculum, none of those apply. Your start date, August 2017. Now, if you transferred in, your start date's going to be different, but this is the one for all of you guys that started as freshmen here. And your end date, this should be the same for everybody, is going to be May of 2021. What grades did you attend here? So we'll put in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Now again, if you came in later, yours is going to look a little different this academic year, starting with 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Actually, sorry, I did that backwards. Starting 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, and then 2021. So that's what it should look like. If you took a summer course after any of these years, you need to check the box next to it to allow you to be able to enter those in. So a lot of you maybe took biology following freshman year. So I'm going to check that box and show you how that gets entered if you did that. If not, you just leave that box unchecked. Maybe you took a summer class after 10th, you would check that box here. So just make sure you get that in there. Our school's grading system, A, B, C, D, F. Our school's term system, semester. We get 2 final grades per year, one in the fall and one in the spring. And yes, this is the school you'll graduate from, receiving a high school diploma, and that'll happen at the end of May. So we're going to put May of 2021. Save and continue. Now, what is going to be important to do is, well, let's see, I finished adding high schools. So we're going to now start to enter our courses and grades in here. So 9th grade. This is our academic year here. You're going to have to use your transcript. If you don't have your transcript, you can email your counselor and we can email it back to you. Many of you do have your transcript, but you're going to want everything to match exactly because you're self-reporting your grades. If you do end up going to a UC school, they are going to ask for your final transcript after you've committed to them, and they're going to match to make sure everything looks accurate. And if there's something wrong, if you gave yourself an A when you got a B or something like that, they could withdraw your acceptance. So you want to make sure that you enter everything in accurately and not just from memory. So I'll show you kind of how we do this real quick. World history is a very common 9th grade class. Once you click world history, first semester grade, maybe that was a B. Second semester, maybe we got an A. So we put that in. Whatever you earned, you need to put in there. English, we'll go with English 1A. Could have been honors English if you were honors English. Again, we'll put our grades in there. Math could have been anything from algebra 1 to geometry. You won't see pre-algebra on here because it's not a UC approved class, but I'm going to put algebra 1 and I'm going to say I got A's in that. Lab science, maybe a few of you took biology, but most of you probably did not take a science freshman year. Language other than English, I'll go ahead and put French in there. Give myself some B's in there. Visual and performing arts, maybe you took a VAPA, guitar, or theater arts, or something like that. You could put that in there. And then something that a lot of guys overlook, getting those college prep electives in there. Give yourself credit for speech. You took speech, and let's say you got an A in speech, just put it in for grade 1. Obviously, we didn't have a second semester because it was just an intersession. So we put no there, and that allows us to move forward. No grade for part 2, just 1 grade for part 1. And we save and continue. Now, what did we not put in there? Religion. That is not a UC approved class in 9th grade. We will see that it is approved in 10th grade, but it's not in 9th. And we didn't put PE in there. Other courses like Microsoft Office or Photoshop, those do not go in here as well. So if you didn't find it, it is likely not a UC approved class, but you can double check with your counselor if you're confused about that. Here's that summer session. So you would click that, and let's say we took biology in the summer, give ourselves some nice grades here, and save and continue. Now it's going to move us to 10th grade. And I want to show you something special here in 10th grade. So you do everything just the way we did it, history, English, math, and whatnot. But as I mentioned, Old Testament and New Testament are actually UC approved classes. So the way that you enter those, Old Testament was a fall class. So you have grade 1. You did not have a grade 2 for Old Testament. You did for New Testament. That was in the spring. So we have no for grade 1, and we have our grade for grade 2. So that's how you would enter those, and then we go through all of that. So just make sure, this is the same for some other classes. Maybe you took psychology as a sophomore. We have a lot of sophomores that do that. Let me see if there's anything else. Perhaps a yearbook, probably not as a sophomore, but if you're looking for that as a junior or senior, it's in these college prep electives area. Comparative politics, maybe you took that with psychology. So just be aware that some classes live in this area here. So we'll save and continue. I'm going to move us forward to 11th grade. Again, 11th grade is going to be one where you don't have religion again. So you're not going to find Christian vocation, and you're not going to find ethics. You will find some of these other classes. Again, always check your college prep electives and see what's there. And what I'm going to do is skip ahead if it'll let me to 12th grade, because there's a few special things here. So let's look at 12th grade. Continue. Oops. Let's go enter courses and grades. So 12th grade. A lot of different options here. For those of you that are civics and economics, civics is here. You know, if you're doing an AP government, that's right there. Civics is here, but it's just in the fall. So this defaults as for seniors, grade 1 IP, grade 2 PL. IP means in progress. As you're filling this out right now, you're in progress with a class. So that works just fine for AP government because you're in progress in the first semester, and your PL, that means planned, for the second semester. So you would just leave that. But civics is only a 1 semester class. So you would have to put no for that second semester because you're only in progress, you're not taking it in the spring. You're taking economics in the spring, but economics is found in a different spot. That's all the way down here in the college prep electives. There it is, economics. So I'm going to say no to the first semester because nobody's in economics right now. And I'm going to say planned for the second semester. Now, if you're doing AP economics, you'll notice those are here in the college prep electives area. That's just how they're approved and categorized in the UCs. You still get the same kind of credit for them. It's just in a different category. Micro is what you're starting with. That's in progress. And macro is what you'll take in the spring. So we will go no for now and planned for the spring, okay? So some of those get a little confusing, but hopefully that made sense. English is going to be a full year. I'll just click the AP one, AP English Lit, in progress planned. That's perfect because it's a full year. Math, let's call it honors pre-calc, in progress and planned. That's a full year. If you're taking a science, that'll be a full year. If you're taking a foreign language, that'll be a full year. If you're taking a VAPA, that'll be a full year. Just any of these things that you click, and there it is, in progress and planned. Now, your religions count again in 12th grade. So in the even years, it counts, 10th and 12th. In the odd years, it doesn't, 9th and 11th. So you can find those here, comparative religions maybe, first or second semester, figure that out. Let's just call this a second semester one, so it's planned. And then ethics 2, social issues, you all have that. So that's in progress or planned. And then there's honors philosophy if that's what you're taking instead of comparative religion. Look for some other ones, psychology, if you're taking sociology maybe, there's yearbook if you need it. AP Psych is popular with seniors, so perhaps that's here, and that's a year long, so it would go in progress and planned. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions on those, contact your counselor, but it should be pretty straightforward. Once you get through 12th grade, it's going to ask you colleges attended while in high school. This is just strictly if you took a class outside of Saints at a college, maybe a community college or a university. Rarely do we have guys do this, but we have maybe a couple every year that will put something in here. The rest of you will put, I don't have any colleges to add. California State Student ID number. Public school students do not have one, so you will leave this blank. That confuses a lot of guys. Just leave it blank. Let's see, any additional comments that you'd like to include? So this is an opportunity for you to put something in. If you broke your leg and missed a few weeks of school and it affected your grades, or if there was a death in the family and your grades were really low that semester because you were dealing with all that, you can put that in here. One sentence I think everyone should put is, my school requires 8 semesters of religion which limited my ability to take more electives or advanced courses. Just some context we want to remind them of as they look at your schedule and maybe you don't see as many AP classes as some public school students. Well, that's because we have a religion requirement. And we want to make sure that they're aware of that, that it wasn't your choice, but it was in fact kind of our school policy that resulted in that. So you could save that. If you have nothing else to add, that's fine. This isn't a place to add, you know, anything about a teacher being unfair to you or anything like that, just other serious things. So save and continue on that. And then review. So that's the academic history section, which we just walked through because I know there's a lot of questions that come up on that one. And I got all the check marks on there, but I didn't fill out the rest of those things. Let's look at the last sections here. Test scores. So if you do want to input ACT and SAT test scores, you can do that. They are accepting them this year, although UCs are test optional. So if you don't feel like your scores are UC worthy, certainly leave them off and you won't be penalized. If you did score a great score, if you were in the 30s on an ACT or maybe above 1400 on an SAT, those are great scores for a UC, and I would recommend sharing those. SAT subject tests, again, most of you probably didn't do those just because of all the cancellations this year, and that's okay. AP exams, if you'd like to include AP scores, you can. They really don't factor into admissions. But if you did get a 4 or a 5 on an AP exam, I'd put it in there just so that they can factor in that credit for you and just have a record of that. And maybe you will be able to get some credit when you start college. The rest of these, IB exams, TOEFL, international exams, none of you have, so we don't have to worry about those. Activities and awards. This is the section, this will take a good bit of time, but this is where you don't want to shortchange yourself. You want to put in everything that you did. And they have the different categories, awards and honors. Educational prep programs, probably nobody here did any of those, but you can look at them. Lots of extracurricular activities, other coursework. If you took something in intercession that's related to your interest, maybe you took architecture, maybe you took engineering design, and those are the things you want to study, I would include those there. Volunteering and community service, and any work experience if you've had a job. This becomes increasingly important since test scores may not be factored into admissions. They're going to look harder at everything else. And so having as many activities and awards as you can get on here, it becomes important. So when you select one, we'll just do one for practice. I will do an extracurricular activity. I will say that I played tennis. They're going to ask, what did you do? They give you 350 characters. Again, this is just kind of a check inside the application. It didn't used to be here, but because of the college admission scandals, they're making people really, verify what they did. Tennis can just be something as simple as I played on the JV tennis team in 9th and 10th grade. I was on varsity as a junior and now am the captain as a senior. That simple can work. Some of these activities you may have more to write, and that's totally fine. Put it in there. When did you participate? So as I just spelled out, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. How much time did you spend on this activity? This stresses a lot of guys out trying to figure this out and be accurate. This is just a best guess, an estimate. So for tennis, let's say tennis is a 3-month season. It's February, March, and April. So maybe that's 12 weeks per year. Hours per week, maybe I did it for 2 hours after school every day, Monday through Friday. So that would be 10 hours per week for 12 weeks of the year. That's just an estimate. As long as your numbers aren't crazy, like you're not going to put 60 weeks of the year since there's only 52 weeks in a year. You're not going to put more hours in a week than actually exists. So just kind of get that estimate. If it's something you did just once, like maybe you did an orphanage visit and you want to put that in here. Hours per week, maybe you spent 6 hours at the orphanage, or maybe you just did that once, and that was 1 week a year. You could just do that for something like that. So it's really up to you to kind of figure that out. Nobody's gonna, go too crazy trying to confirm those things, but just try and be as accurate as possible. So do that for all your extracurricular activities, your community service, jobs that you had, all those different categories, and really try and make yourself stand out on this application. Scholarships and programs, apply for scholarships. Once you've put schools in here, choose campuses, it's telling me to go back and do, there's gonna be an opportunity to check boxes of things you may qualify for scholarships. This could be based on your ethnicity or background. This could be based on activities you've been involved in. There's gonna be a whole bunch. And if you think it applies to you, check those boxes and maybe they can get you some scholarship money. And lastly on the application is the personal insight questions. You'll probably look over these in your senior English class, but they're all listed right here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna pick 4 of these 8. So here are the 8, and you can read through these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just say you've decided to do number 7. That's an easy one, right? What have you done to make your school or your community a better place? You would just click the answer button, and if you've written this on a Word document so that you spell checked everything, you can just copy and paste it right into here, and then save and continue. So just put test, save and continue. There, I've got 1 saved. So I got to do 4 of these. And remember, the UCs, these are not, don't think of these as essays. Think of these as answers to questions. So you just really want to get right to it. They limit you to, 250 to 350 words. That should be where you're fitting it. That's like a page typed. So you should get right to it. You're answering a question. You want to put as much detail and support in there as possible. So you do 4 of those. And then once you've got everything completed, you go to the end, review and submit, make sure everything's checked off, and send this. You cannot send the UC application any earlier than November 1st. So you've got a good 2 months to be working on this. You may be ready to send it sooner than November 1st. You just have to wait. And you cannot send it later than November 30th. So just make sure that you're sending it at some point in November. Don't wait too long. If you wait until the last day, the system could crash, and that's just going to create stress for everybody. So do try and get it done. You've got 2 months to get it done. It's just a few hours worth of your time to get through everything here. If you have more specific questions on the UC application, please reach out to your counselor, and hopefully we'll be back here on the ground and we can work on some of this in person. If you have some of your personal insight questions that we just looked at that you want us to look at and see if you're answering them appropriately and the way that the schools want to read them, feel free to email those to us, share those documents with us, and we'll give you some feedback, or your English teacher, of course. They look at those every year as well. So thank you for tuning in today to the UC application, and reach out with any questions. Thanks.